Now, another box of tools left on for repair. This time, full box of Makitas. What have we got? Planer, double charger, two grinders, cordless saw, 3 impacts, and 2 drills. Let's get stuck into this stuff and see what we can get fixed. Must add, custom made box for it as well. Made themselves a wee plywood box to send it on. We start with the Makita charger. Have to start somewhere. Sure, may as well be this. This has been on here before. Have a repair number on it already. Yep. That's working. That's not. That's as far as we go. Not much point in doing anything else. I'll just show you why. Inside, it's just 2 separate boards. So you've got your USB supply over here. Main power is coming onto here. Splitting that power between 2 boards, 2 separate transformers for each board. This one's working fine, this one's dead. Nothing you can get for these. Can't buy these boards separately, you can't buy these power supplies. So once she goes, she's gone. The only things I generally check are the fuses. So obviously this one works, because this board works. So this one should work too. We have another one here. So that fuse works. The filters, capacitors and all are okay in the power in. Can't see anything popped. This thing's been wet. A bit of rust marks on the board. So that is going to be dead. You're not going to go fault finding a charger. Honestly, the price of them, you would just replace. Only fix these things if it's a simple fix. Broken wire, fuse maybe. But even if it's a fuse, 9 times out of 10, once you replace it, it's just going to pop again. So that's no good. She still works on one side, so we can use one side only, just as a standard charger. But that's it. Can't do anything else with it. So that's just a no-go. Not much more you can do with that. Just let them use the one side. Next up, Makita cordless drill. This is a 459. Working. Oh, there we go. Change lever's a wee bit slack as well. Problem to chuck. Just totally rusted solid. Not even the vise is going to open that one. Clamped her in the vise, put her in low speed. Nothing. She's just seized solid. Right. Only option is to cut it off. Screw. I am not going to get out, I don't think. Maybe it's the screwdriver. Try Old Faithful. Yep, must have got it. She is moving. Yeah. Jaws are on the way. Now, I'd rather keep this screw, so see if I can cut off this chuck without destroying the screw. This thing must have just been left on the rain. Totally rusted. That's a bad one now. Get all that crap off. See if we can shift these jaws. A lot of effort just to keep the screw. I actually don't have another one, so I need that. Now for the rest, we want to cut this chuck just here. Easier if these jaws are out of the way, but I can't shift them. So I'll just have to do. That's the spindle off. Now we have to cut down through it just at the edge of the threads. That'll release the clamp holding the actual chuck threads on. Now, should just be through the edge of the thread and no more. Now you can see all the threads. You've cut through the actual spindle itself, and you've only just nicked the shaft of the drill. Now that should come off nice and easily. Drill down at a low speed, just hit the corner of the chuck. That's it. One chuck removed. The inside doesn't sound great either. Right, so that's not good. That's field or stator. It's completely burnt. That copper winding should be this colour. You can see it's all black. So this has been burnt out. That's why she sounds rough. Still working, but it'll not be working very well. Gearbox is still good because this is a Makita. That stator. This field is actually replaceable. It's not soldered on. It has bullet connectors instead. So that can be just disconnected. The actual PCB on the back of it, this wee green board, that just unscrews. 4 wee screws. Don't need to disconnect these wires. That frees out your stator. You can just replace that. That part there costs about €15. So we'll order one of them. We'll leave this as is. We'll put a new chuck on later. So we'll let that sit. So that'll have to be left for now. Next up we have an impactor. This is the DTD 152. What the? It's actually just got covered in paint. What was that sent on for? My God, they couldn't just do that. These are really cheap and cheerful wee impactors now. Pick these up for about 90 quid. To be honest, there's not much worth repairing on them. You can buy them for such little money. It's not worth putting a switch or anything into them. It'd be worth a set of brushes if you wear the brushes out. Apart from that, as is here, we'll just check the brushes. Yeah, they're fine, nearly brand new. That must have been what it was sent on for. It's got some sort of black paint on it. But that looks to have been so thick, wouldn't have actually worked its way into the switch. It's just sat there. It's holding a bit. And it unpacks. So that's that sorted. There's a simple one. On to number 2 unpacked. Base is missing a screw anyway. No go. This was open before. It's a bit black, but the brushes are all making contact. Yeah, motor's gone anyway. See, the windings are all black. It's just stuck in there. And the fan is actually melted onto the brush holder. Fan, brush holder, brushes, more than likely the field. The price you can buy these things for, like I was saying on the last one, it's just not worth it. So that's not going to be worth fixing. You'd be better off buying a new one, getting a year's warranty with it, or else registering it to get a 3-year warranty. So these things, even though they're Makita, I find them only light, to be honest. Good powerful motor on them, 4 brushes, but probably too powerful what's needed. Too small a gearbox, that gets too hot too quick. Good and powerful if you're doing a bit of screwing, but if you're doing a while lot of screwing, they get too hot too fast. And they end up burning the motor out, just like this one. Put in a couple of screws, perfect. Put in 100 screws, you're going to kill this. Next up, a brushless Makita impact, the DTD 153. It's running, holding the back, and there we go. Trigger, it's not going through the speeds. Tweet. There we go. Now, unlike the DeWalt one, no cleaning this one out. You can just replace it. Connector there. 2 small connectors. Let's take these wee angled ones off. Oh, that's got hot too, look. She must have got a fair bit of a load. Actually burnt the wire a bit. To remove that, you have to push this wee tab in. And then pull. 1, 2. So, switch is the problem. That's your number. Can buy them on their own. It's just a wee rubber grommet to help pack it out. But this lead is going to be a problem as well, because you can't just swap the lead as part of the controller. So you have to do something about that. Best thing to do is get a scrap one, joint the wire. There's not much else I can do. That'll do. That should do the job. Get this boy out anyway. It's either that, scrap it, or put a whole new controller onto it, which would be too expensive. Simple as that. One wee Makita impactor fixed. New switch and a new connector. That's her. Next up is another drill. Running. Been sitting for a while. It's fairly dirty. This is a DHP 484. Up with grease. Lovely. I hope it was grease anyway. Right, strip the gear. Now, did you strip a gear? Something wrong with that selector. That just doesn't feel right. That as well. That chuck's seized. Right, first thing, what's wrong with the gearbox? There's no point in changing the chuck if I can't fix the gearbox. All these things have got severe water damage anyway. The state of that field. It's been soaked. A lot of people tell you these brushless machines, you can actually use them in wet conditions or underwater. Yes, they will work. For a short time, that water is going to have an effect. Rusts up, corrodes inside. I wonder if that's just packed with dirt. See all the sawdust on there. I'll give us a wee quick wipe. See, from memory, I was pretty certain this particular model had an all metal gearbox. And the drive gear that locks up actually locks into metal teeth. That's what I thought it was anyway. Yeah, see? That's metal. So that shouldn't be slipping. Yeah, I think this is just a case of dirt. That was all packed out as well. So it was on here. I don't think that selector is getting the full way down. I think the dirt was stopping it halfway. You can see where she has a round over. There's definitely a bevel on it. I think that's just where it was slipping because it wasn't engaging correctly. Hopefully, anyway. Stick her back in and test it again. Now, a lot of people strip these gearboxes apart, change the chuck. They lock up the spindle on the inside to actually torque off the chuck. It does work, but only if the chuck isn't totally locked on. The way I do it with an Allen key, it's too tight anyway, it won't come off. You stop and you cut it off. Using the spindle method, locking up the spindle and torquing it off, just means that if it is still too tight, what you're going to end up doing is either marring or bending or twisting the spindle itself. Then you're going to end up with a wobbly chuck. So it's too tight anyway. Still doesn't work to actually grip the spindle. At least that's the way I find it now. I've actually destroyed a few from twisting the spindle inside. Not just Makita, different brands. So if the chuck's too tight, grinder, cut it off. quickest and best method. That feels better. Also just clean this out. Now, another wee tip. This is the gear selector for the top. This can start to feel a wee bit slack. Because these wee tabs here become loose. Sometimes squeeze in. Wee tip to make it a wee bit more tighter. Get yourself a blowtorch. And a small flat screwdriver. Just make the plastic a little bit warm. Don't melt it. Just put a little slight bend in the plastic. It'll lock into place when it cools. Let it cool for a couple of seconds. And they should be splayed out a wee bit more. Give you a tighter grip. Hear that wind out there? It's howling. I think winter's come early. That's better. No holding it in second speed now. That's the gearbox sorted. Now we need to sort out the chuck. Unscrew. No good. If the 10 doesn't fit, and the chuck's already opened, you can go for a 12. It's very slack. There we go. One chuck off. A new chuck. So I'll stick on a good one. This is a steel chuck, POF brand. They're all basically the same anyway. Slam it on. Drop on your screw. That's her. One Makita drill, a fixed up gearbox and a new chuck. This just goes to show, keep your tools nice and clean. If dirt starts to build up inside, sawdust especially, dirt and grit, it's going to get onto different components, especially if you're letting them get wet as well. Your field and components inside is going to corrode. Electrical contacts are going to corrode as well. It's not going to kill them straight away, but eventually it might. Change levers in can pack it with dirt, stop the thing from getting fully engaged. Just remember this particular model, this is the 484 metal gearbox, metal locking gears. So if she starts to slip, it's more than likely a selector problem. That's her sorted anyway. Another done. Look at that. What number is that? Number 21,000. That's how many machines have actually come through this workshop. That's the number we're now on. 21,000 machines now fixed. Next up, old favourite, Makita grinder. Seen plenty of these been fixed now. Let's not switch it on just yet. Get rid of that death trap. Don't know why that was sent on. No, nothing wrong there. Can't even be that old, is it? 2020. Don't know what that was sent on for. Clearly working. Blade lock is locking. It's not surely in for a broken disc. I'll just say flying disc, and a cheap and cheerful disc anyway. Quick blow down and a clean. Is that what we've come to now? I swear, I think some people just send their tools out for a wee day trip. Why that was sent on, I do not know. Somebody has been at it before. That's bent around the wrong way. That's just a little cover in case the brushes melt and nobody burns their fingers. These things are overworked. Dogs who work for too long, they get hot, start sucking the full 30 amps out of these batteries, overloading the motor gets hot, brushes get hot, brushes start to burn, melt the plastic, keep getting hotter, we eventually start melting these caps as well. So just in case you're holding it, give yourself a wee burn. Have these wee protective caps over the top as well. I do see these being dogged and abused daily. Only a brushed machine can't do that much work. If you want to do the heavy stuff, get the brushless grinders. They're way more resilient. You can abuse them a lot more. Yeah, that's it. Nothing wrong with that one. Next up, now, from the crowd, this is from, yeah, that's rubbing. Crowd, this is actually in from soaring tools, we'll say. brushed cordless saws like this here, Makita, DeWalt, any brand at all, because it's a saw, same as a grinder, boys start using them and they get too used to them. So they have a corded one for doing the heavy work, and they get this here for the light stuff. This starts getting pulled out for everything. It's a convenience tool, and it is very convenient. Once you start using these things, it's hard not to use them. Pull them out for everything, like trying to cut through a bit of wet ply or ripping 2-inch timber or something. Start pulling this here as well and using it for the same jobs. Well, you should be using a corded machine or a table saw. Puts the motor on a massive strain, draws a lot of power from the batteries. These especially, draws all the power, goes through the wiring, way too much current for it, the wiring melts. Because there's long wires in this, they're wrapped up around each other and together. If they melt through and touch, and you get it on for repair, and you stick a battery into it, pull the trigger, you short out your battery. I have destroyed quite a few batteries with these types of repairs, Makita and DeWalt especially. And I know this company can be sore on tools, so I'm not going to test it just yet. Seeing that the brushes look okay. Good bit worn though. It's definitely been worked. We'll open her first. Could be a complete waste of time. Maybe talking a load of rubbish here. Been too cautious. I really don't want to destroy another battery. Aha. See what I mean? Oh, look at that. Connector's totally melted through. Everything's melted in. Even the wires are melted onto the plastic body. That's how hot, that's how much current you can draw from these batteries if you're trying to rub timber or something with a cordless saw. These can suck out 30 amps easily. Some people actually say these can take up to 50 amps. One of the new 6 amp batteries fully charged. You imagine a dose of the wiring inside of this. Then they send it on to me for repair. And then little old me, first thing he does, plugs in a battery, shorts out the battery. You're sitting pulling the trigger, shorting the battery every time. Cells are going positive to negative, shorting out, heating it up. That's your battery cooked. That's it. No recovery. Yeah, that's gone. You've got to watch that one. Brushed cordless saws. If it's not looking good or looks to be heavily used, or even if it's brand new and they say it's just stopped dead, just check that. No, I'm not going any further with that one. Too risky for me. Just leave that one altogether. Next up again, another Makita brushed grinder. DHP DGA 452. Yeah, it's more like it. That's the sound we're used to. Melted. These are good for a couple of cuts, for a light bit of use or a short bit of use. That's it. both of them melted on. Are these things any good in general? What do you think I use here in the workshop? General bits and pieces, nothing wrong with them. This one here, 2016, and I'm still surviving all the abuse I throw at it. We're doing loads of work with these things. Put them away, take out a corded machine. These are good for light stuff. Very popular at tilers, just because they're in the odd cut. The dust that gets onto these causes problems as well. Give them a blowout as well for getting very dusty. And that's burnt. Yeah. So the colour of the windings here. These should be the same all the way up. So these contacts are all cooked as well. That means the resistance in that thing is too high. Now I can pull out that brush ring and the brushes and replace the brush, the end bell, the caps and the brushes. Replace the lot. Put this back in again and it will run. Sound okay, but it's not going to do any work at all before it gets too hot. You'll have that back again in a few weeks. Same problem, melted brushes. When they come out looking like that, lads, it's just not worth fixing them. If they're putting them through that much abuse, advise them to just go and buy a brushless machine. But if you take it out, them contacts are all still nice and shiny, nice brass colour, don't look burnt at all. It's fine if this is burnt, because it's going to arc here when the brushes run out. But if these here, stake-ons here, are burnt or tarnished like that, it's no good. Just give it back to him the way you got it. Just in case he buys the same one, you can always have spares. No go on that one. Now, last one from the box. Makita planer. Looks like this may just be a simple one. Other thing, what's the rest of it like? Look at the state of the blades in that one. Smashed and full to dust. Same there. If you break your blades, replace them. Don't just keep going. Because what happens is, with the blades missing, sawdust gets into it and starts building up. So this will be trying to cut. I'll be just taking wee light shavings, which will start building up on here. If enough pressure gets on, it'll actually bend that set plate up. So when the next blade goes on, it won't be clamped properly. If this set plate's bent at all, you'll just instantly snap the new blade. So don't be letting them get like that. Any sort of distortion in this set plate here, or this aluminium drum, you tighten down the new blades, they'll just break them. They have to be flat and straight. Right, test this one. That's all it is. Just a lead. There's this on here. I'll just give it a quick wee clean down as well. Because you get the likes of this. Completely clogged with sawdust. How's that motor supposed to breathe? Plus whatever the hell that is. Just a wee quick clean. Strip connector for the neutral. It's only the live that's actually switching. Next thing is the blades. Changing blades, you don't have to take all this apart. You just need to slacken off these 3 bolts. And that should be enough to slide out your old one, slide on the new one. But there's that much damage in this. I have to check the set plate as well. A bit painstaking, but needs to be done. Look how badly broken they were. They're just in pieces. Make sure you get all the bits out. If any pieces left on there, you don't want it coming loose again, smashing the new blades. Make sure that's located. Get on your clamp. And again, make sure you don't cross thread these bolts. Then get your blade, slide it on. And tighten up your bolts. One at a time, tightening a little bit at a time, so you spread the weight nice and even. Now check if they're right and even. With a flat edge, ruler or a square on this back plate, a nice flat one. This should only just touch. That's okay. That's it. Spot on. Two blades set to the same depth and nice and flush with the back plate. That's what you want. Oh, here's another problem now. Adjustment, just not adjusting. This one's never ending. Now this thing, this cap has to pop off, but they're on tight. The only thing you can get in here is a flat screwdriver to prise on it. But all you're doing is damaging this black plastic ring underneath. So take it off, get a bigger flat, set it on its edge. Set it just there, on the edge. Give it a quick tap. Put a little dent in the blue plastic here, but it's not going to do anything to performance. Right. Why is she not spinning? A 17 socket to get to this nut. Somebody just went too far with it. And jammed it. Yeah, it's actually also rust. Put a rust on that thread. Quick wee clean. I should sort this out. Spring in, plate on. These are the detents, wee clicks that run against this plate. They should hold in place if you're gentle. That's it. Just don't cross thread this nut. Simple mechanism, but effective. That's her. One Makita planer, KP0800, with a new lead, new blades, retainers filed, and depth adjustment fixed up. That's her, lads. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too long a video. That's one big box of Makita tools, all either fixed up or scrapped off. Not all of them could be fixed, but most of them could. Thanks again for watching, lads. Give us a like and a follow if you like the content, and become a member as well if you want to help support the channel. Thanks again.